Anthony and Joe, good to see you once again. How are you guys doing?
Good, Rohit. How are you?
Good, Rohit. Thank you.
Very well. Good. Great to see both of you once again. Before you made Cherry, a lot of people in the world would think the safest option is to keep making superhero movies because you make the best superhero movies in the world. But you didn't choose that path. What would be the reason for that?
We had a great run. There was about a 7-year run where we made 4 films with Marvel, and that was among our favorite experiences of our entire careers. We loved those films. We had a great passion for those films. We poured everything we had as people and artists into those movies. And perhaps someday we will make movies like that again. But basically, we were finishing up Avengers Endgame, and somebody recommended a novel to us. They knew the novel was set where we're from, and they knew it was sort of in the tone of something we may be interested in. And we read it, and it just struck us. I mean, it was really simply our response to that story that made us want to make the film at that time. And the reason why is it was dealing with very current issues, very modern issues of post-traumatic stress disorder and also opioid addiction. 2 things that are really difficult problems that a lot of people experience worldwide. But there's not a lot of understanding yet about how best to deal with those issues. So it was something that we wanted to run at because it seems like it's a social issue, but also because on a personal level, we have family, friends, we have loved ones who are suffering from these problems as well. So when we read the book, we had very personal reasons for wanting to explore this story and bring it to screen to sort of help our own process in terms of dealing with these issues in our own lives and hopefully help others as well.
Right. Joe, to you, this deals with the horrors of addiction, the horrors of war. You think it's relatable in today's times as well?
Certainly. And I mean, these are complex issues that need to be discussed. I mean, we're in the middle of, a terrible drug crisis in the U.S. With a drug that's been scientifically engineered to make people addicted to it. So this is a conversation that, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, has been sidelined. But it's the deadliest year in the history of the drug crisis for us. So it's even though it's been sidelined, it's still an incredibly important conversation. And I think that. We made the movie for catharsis for ourselves because people close to us have died because of opioids, and others are struggling with their sobriety. So it's an important personal movie for us.
Right. After watching Cherry, I feel no one could do it the way Tom did. But before watching it, I was thinking, will I think of Peter Paker or Spiderman? Did this play on your mind as well?
We never had that question. When we cast Tom Holland as Spider-Man, that was a difficult role to cast, and it was a very extensive search for who would be the next Spider-Man. So when we saw Tom audition, and we immediately responded to what he was doing, from that moment, we had a very strong connection with him, a creative connection with him. And we began working very intensely with him, number one, to get him the role. But then also moving forward from that, we got to work with him over several films, over several years. And one of the things we liked most about making the Marvel films is that we got to work with the same actors, movie after movie, year after year. And you start to develop a very intimate understanding of who they are as artists and who they are as people. And I think it's that working relationship that we had with Tom and that friendship that we developed with Tom. It allowed Joe and I to see the depth of what he was capable of as a performer, as an artist. And so, when we read this book, we never had any question on our minds other than that Tom would be the perfect person to play this role. And he was in the right place in his career to play a role like this because it very much is a coming-of-age story, this movie. And it deals with very sort of difficult and dark adult themes. And it seemed like he was in the right place to start really taking on those kinds of themes and ideas as a performer. And he did it spectacularly.
I totally agree. Joe and Anthony, I thoroughly enjoyed your movie. It's an incredible movie and great performance by Tom. So thank you for making this and thank you for talking to me.
Thank you,
Rohit.
Rohit.
Thank you
Good to
so
see
much.
you.